All right.
Well, welcome and thank you for stopping by the channel again today. We have a special guest, a fellow Rotarian, and I'd like to have him explain all about the moving process. His name is Randy Scharpen. He works for Suddath Relocation, which I believe is an agent for United Van Lines, but he'll talk all about the whole process from start to finish, what you want to do when you're contemplating a move, how to work with a mover, the steps and procedures. So with that, I'm going to kind of turn it right on over to Randy. Randy, take it from there.
All right. Thank you, John. Yeah, I sat down when you asked me to come on, and thank you very much for this, John. I wrote down some basic ABCs of our industry and what clients should do if they are interested in getting a bid for a move, whether it's locally or long distance. And the number one question was, how do I do that? How do I get a bid to do this? Well, number one, you just reach out to us, and we actually have two different ways. With COVID, they've developed what they call a virtual survey. So we can either come out to your home, we can spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes with you, walk through the home and do it in that manner, or we can do it online. We have a virtual survey program that you download to your cell phone, and I send a link to you at the desired appointment time, and you can show me your home virtually with your phone, which is really nice. It's just through your camera. You just go room to room and show me everything you want to move. And a lot of people really enjoy just doing it that way, and that's fine too. So number one, reaching out to me, just get a hold of me in any manner. Go through John. You can pick up the phone and call me. We're online. Suddath Relocation has been in business over 100 years. And like John said, we are a United agent. What I would do in the appointment is just discuss your needs, what you're doing, whether you're moving locally, whether you're going long distance. Some customers are between houses and need storage. That's something we offer. We have many locations around the country. We have one here in Minneapolis, St. Paul, but we have them in other cities also. It is all temperature controlled storage. So if that's a need of yours, you need it for a couple of weeks or a month or more, we do offer that. So then we sit down and we talk, where are you going? If it's locally, local moving is done differently than long distance moving. Local moving is done by time and manpower. So let's say, John, you set somebody up that needs to move from Edina to Eden Prairie. What I would do is come out and assess what they need done, and then put together a moving estimate based on manpower and time it's going to take to load everything up, drive it over, and make that delivery to their new home. So that's local moving. Going backwards a little bit, we do offer box packing services. Some customers like to do their own packing to save on cost, but we have that option where we could come out a day or two before the move and pack everything up for you. There is a cost for that, but I would break that out so you could make a decision on whether it was worth it to you to have us box pack, or if you want to take that on yourself and do that portion of it. So long distance moving. You get to the point of retirement, you want to head down to Florida or Arizona. Long distance moving is a little bit different than local moving. It's not manpower and an hourly rate. It's more of how much weight you have. It's based on weight and mileage. So we come out and our program and our iPad really goes through the home, and we can designate how much a dresser weighs, 300 pounds, or how much a sofa weighs, 250 pounds, and it adds it all up. And based on that weight, we're able to correlate that weight and the mileage down to Miami or Fort Myers or whatnot, and it puts together a transportation cost for you. Some other things. Let's see what I wrote down here. Oh, one thing that's real important with people that are going to be moving is really have a good idea on what you want to take or not take. Some people are in homes, they've been in homes a long time. Maybe if it's a retirement move, or maybe they want a fresh start. When I come out, have a good idea on what you want to take with you, or maybe what you want to get rid of. Some people want to download a little bit and declutter a little bit and not take so much. If you have a clear picture on what you want me to estimate, then I can keep those items off the moving estimate if you decide that you're going to go through and get rid of those ahead of time. So that's important. Time frame for a relocation. Our industry is very much in the demand phase, which means we're in very high need in the summer. So unfortunately, the rates with all moving companies are a little bit higher in the summer than they are in the winter or the fall or even the spring. So the peak season for the moving industry is typically around May 15th. And it goes until about September 15th. And that's when we're in real high demand. And it's real important if you're going to move in that time frame that you really get on a schedule and you get on somebody's books, scheduling books for dates to lock them down, because they fill up very quickly, John. Let's see what else I can cover here a little bit. Some customers are moving because of their employment. United Van Lines has a lot of corporate agreements out there. So if you're moving with a company and they're going to foot the bill, please let me know what that company is. I can look up if United Van Lines has a contract with them, and there's some discounts in there too. So and a lot of times in corporate relocations, we can also do all the direct billing right to the employer, which is very nice. So, but if it's your own dime and you're moving on your own accord and you are footing the bill, United Van Lines gives a couple different options. You can either pay with any major credit card; they take them all, or you could put together a bank certified check made out to United Van Lines. So those are kind of the options on payment. I wanted to step back a little bit too on the storage. I'm not sure if I handled that, if I told you exactly how that works. Everything is climate controlled with United Van Lines, and that's not true with other agents out there, other van lines. They don't have all climate controlled. United is very proud about that, having climate controlled on delicate furniture. You don't want your stuff sitting in a warehouse down in Miami that isn't climate controlled and is being touched by weather, in the 80s, 90s, 100, and humidity. Humidity is terrible for furniture. So if just keep that in mind. If you need storage, United is by far the #1 agency to go with for climate controlled storage. So United Van Lines is the largest company in the world. And I'm very proud to say that. We are by far, and what that means is we've really done our homework, being a van line. We've taken the right courses on training our in-home staff. That's very important, that you feel comfortable with people that are coming into your house. We do background checks. We do drug screening on everybody out on the street, and we are dressed up in a very professional looking outfit. That that we are, we're serious about the job that we do. So that's very important also. Another thing customers ask when they're moving long distance, I have a couple vehicles. Do you guys handle vehicles? And yes, we do. We handle all vehicles, whether they be cars or trucks or ATVs or boats or anything you can think of in that manner. We do handle those services also. We also have trusted third-party vendors that handle the delicate stuff like washer and dryers. Some customers want to move with their washer and dryer. Well, we have trusted vendors that'll come out and service those both at origin and destination. It could be washer and dryers. It could be water lines. It could be anything of that nature. So we do have services to take care of those if they are part of your relocation. Well, John, anything else you think of that you can throw at me that you're
Sure.
looking to get to your customers?
Yeah, I just have a couple questions came up in my mind. One would be, so, some people want to get a pod,
Yes.
and, have them dropped it in the driveway. Do you do like a pod type of service, or is yours actually a little more formal, going back to the climate control and
Yeah.
thinking,
Yeah, we're more of a full service company. We do have a pod system. Everything will be going into pods, but we're more of a full service where we don't drive it out. We don't drop it on the driveways. We actually bring the pods out with our trucks, and we professionally load the pods.
Okay.
you know, some of the pod systems can be just fine, the do-it-yourself pod system, but there's absolutely no liability whatsoever to the pod companies. Where with us, you're going to get full insurance, and I would sit down and discuss how the insurance works also with us. But being a full service and we load the pods, it's 100% guaranteed and insured. Where if you go with a kind of a do-it-yourself pod company, if anything gets damaged, that's kind of on the customer.
Okay, perfect. And then the other question regarding insurance is what happens? So let's say I have a glass table and you load it and you're driving it over to the new house and it gets broken or cracked between either loading it on the truck or unloading it and putting it in place. Is there a deductible, or do you guys pay 100%, or how does that work?
Yeah, United used to have deductibles offered to customers. They went away from that. So it's just a flat rate protection, which is agreed upon, that the level of protection is agreed upon between us and your customer on how much they want to insure the move for. The industry does not offer individual insurance, where I've had customers ask me, well, Randy, you know what, I just want this China cabinet insured. I don't, everything else I could care less about, but I want to make sure this is insured. Unfortunately, we do not have the industry does not have insurance like that. It's a full coverage umbrella on everything. So an agreement has to come between us and the customer on what their goods are worth, whether it's they want to put 40,000, 50,000, 100,000. Some people go even higher. And then we have a cost for that. And then yes, if it is broken and it obviously it's our fault, we moved it from point A to point B and it broke, you are entitled to a new table. Okay,
cool. And then I've had this happen a couple times, where not with your company, but where the movers were moving people, and then through necessarily no fault of their own, they happened to put a big old hole in the wall. But then they said, we'll come back, tell the buyers, your buyers will come back after closing, and we'll patch the wall and paint it and fix it and everything. So how does that work with regards to damaging of the either moving into or out of a house? Because sometimes big things slip. So how does that work?
Right. Yeah, we are a licensed and bonded company, and that's very important in the moving industry, whether it's hiring us, United Van Lines, or hiring anybody else, to make sure they're licensed and bonded. And what that means is they have insurance within to cover any damage, whether it be at the origin or the resident or the destination residence, on internal damage or external damage, whether it be driveway damage, front yard damage, door jamb damage, floor damage, anything. So it is important that you hire a company with that type of coverage, licensed and bonded, and we're 100% that, and we take all the precautions in the world on protecting the floors, putting floor protection down on entrance ways, rug runners throughout the house, stair runners, so we don't mark up the stairs and get that white carpet all dirty, banister protection on the rails and banisters, so we don't scratch those up with heavy furniture coming down the stairwells. So that's all the prep work that we do, whether it's a local move or a long distance move. That's going to be done at every residence that we walk into.
Okay, and I saw something else too. What about, are there any items you won't move? Like, let's say a gun safe, or the guns within the gun safe, or let's say some wild animal mounts, things like that, or fish mounts or whatever.
Yeah, there are some restricted items. Everything you mentioned there is still okay. Moving guns, we have to get serial numbers. It's by law. We have to get all serial numbers when we transport guns. Head mounts, animal mounts are just fine. We have special protection on packing them that we have to do so we don't damage them. The biggest thing the industry won't let us transport are anything flammable. That's the big word in our industry. It could be anything from aerosol cans they don't let us transport to propane tanks are a big one nowadays that the federal government does not let us transport. Just gasoline in general. And it is important on moving lawnmowers and weed whackers and trimmers and blowers that are gas. We can move the machine, but you have to have the gas drained out of them, and then it's just fine.
What about booze? what about some Bacardi 151 or something? Can you do that? Or is that
They
flammable?
do have some restrictions on that also. The rule of thumb is anything over 50 proof on the bottle, it'll say what it is. Anything over 50 proof, the industry cannot transport.
Interesting. Wow.
So anything under that, beer, liqueurs, and anything under 50 proof is okay.
Okay. Cool. Well, I know. Let's make one last comment. So I know some people can go on Craigslist and hire some people from the workhouse, and things like that that are available. But for my money, I personally would like the fact that they're bonded and insured. I didn't realize you did drug tests or background checks on them, but I guess I have more of a comfort level with knowing that the people that are coming in my house seeing my goods than saving some money, but having people that I have no idea who are telling whomever and later becoming the victim of a crime. I'm not saying that is a guarantee or that it happens all the time or it happens at all, but it seems like it would have a greater propensity for that versus if I'm going with a company like yours that provides some safety and gives some, I would have more peace of mind. Anyway.
Yeah, United is they're very concerned on keeping their reputation at the top of the heap. They want to make sure we have a great reputation, and they're not going to jeopardize that by hiring anybody off the street. There has to be there's a process for hiring our people. We send them to a training facility for training just how to move furniture, how to move a dresser, how to move a hide-a-bed. That's very important. You get some of your smaller companies, your mom and pop moving companies. And like you said, John, they're going to hire some people they hire if they're breathing, Yep. They got to get whoever they can in there to do it. And you don't know where they spent last night. And United absolutely refuses to go that route. And we want to keep our reputation as whole as we can. And you're going to have quality men out there on every job.
Cool. And is there anything that's too small? Like, let's say I need a refrigerator moved. Does that I just don't move refrigerators. I need to move, certain amount of stuff. Is there?
No, we can figure out a solution for anything from one piece to a full semi. I've moved in my history. I've been in the moving industry right now over 38 years. I've moved 2 or 3 semis that a customer had. He had so much stuff. So we can do anything from one piece to 2 or 3 semis.
Awesome. Well, that's tremendous. Well, Randy, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, and I'm sure they should and will want to, how can they best get in contact with you? If I can get your maybe your cell phone and your email, how would they reach out to you?
You bet. Again, my complete name is Randy Scharpen. My agency name is called Suddath Relocation. We're out of Eden Prairie, Minnesota. We're an agent for United Van Lines. My best way to reach me is on the phone is my cell phone. I'm rarely at the office. I'm always running around, and that number is 612-207-4564. Or you could reach me by email at Randy.Scharpen, SCHARPEN at Suddath, SUDDATH.com.
Wonderful. And you're in Eden Prairie, but you do all over the United States. So if somebody wanted to work with you, and because they'll have a comfort level with you, you can help coordinate anywhere within Minnesota or outstate.
I've done moves all over the United States. I've done into Hawaii. I've done from every state in the union. Yep.
Beautiful. All right. Well, Randy, I appreciate you coming on today. Thank you, and have a good rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.